Hey, what's up? It's Brian Scalabrine, the White Mamba, also 2008 world champion Boston Celtics. Now, you're listening to the Boston Big Three podcast presented by Ride the Wave Media.
Welcome back to Boston's Big Three, episode 96, presented by Ride the Wave Media. We're joined today by Brandon Watabe, the Spike King, Tyler Miller, out of Penn State, not a March Madness team. But jumping right in, might as well give out some opening thoughts. Babs' wheels look like they're already turning quite a bit.
Why are you throwing out that shot at Penn State when Penn State and UConn and the UMass Lowell Riverhawks all have the same amount of tournament wins this year? Zero. So it's all even playing field.
I mean, combined, both my schools scored about like 120 points versus both of your guys' schools combined. So they got no wins to show for them, but they scored.
All in the same boat.
Now we are. We'll get into that later, but let's jump right into opening thoughts. What's on your mind?
I always forget we do this.
It's on the spot. Make sure your wheels are still churning.
All right. We'll touch on this more later, but my opening thought is if you're upset about the Daniel Theis trade, then you don't see the fact that he wasn't going to get re-signed. So, like, we got something out of nothing. And if everyone's going to come on Danny Ainge for not trading picks, and he does 2 second-round picks for a 20-point-per-game score, and they're mad at that, I don't know what to tell you. You just don't want happiness. But we'll talk about it later.
My opening thought is simply the Patriots are back. They're exciting again. It's crazy to go from 3 weeks ago, when I said they should fire Bill Belichick. And I still stick with that. If you pick Cam Newton as your starter and you go 7-9 or 7-10 with the team now that you have formed around you, Belichick changed the narrative of everything going on within a matter of 48 hours. And you can't shit on it. Now, Robert Kraft has said, we've made fun of teams in the past that have spent all this money and they win in March. But it's all about what you do in January and February. Now they're in this boat, and they know that, just because you have the pieces out there, they got to play and they got to show up. But Pats fans that rode this out through that 7-9 disgusting season should feel so happy in March right now that you feel there's something brewing and going into the NFL draft in April.
I'm very happy about that. But we are officially Boston's Big Three again because Boston doesn't have a hockey team, so there's not really only 3 sports to talk about. So that's all I have to say about that.
They get no love. Yeah. No love, especially just coming off of a loss in overtime, 4-3.
Fans are back at the TD Garden, though. I don't know what they went to see today, but the fans went to see something today. I don't think it was hockey, but there was $15 beers and hot dogs back at the Garden.
Can I just say that Tuukka Rask not only bailed on the Boston Bruins last year in the bubble, he bailed on the fans tonight. He got hurt. He got hurt. You got pulled from the game. You got to go out there in front of the fans. If you want to win them back, you got hurt. Bruins were up 2-0. All of a sudden, the Bruins lose. Tuukka bailed.
That's tough. But we'll jump right in. Babs, you already mentioned it, that crazy first 48 hours of free agency opening up. I didn't realize it was happening. I think it opened up the day after we recorded our last show. So I was just kind of blindsided the next morning with like reading tweets and texts about players that were coming to the Patriots and players that were re-signing with the Patriots. Just kind of, it was a lot of avalanche of information to wake up to in the morning. So if you want to jump right in, what has been just go through some of the crazy moves the Patriots have made to get them back into a contending team that's not going to go 7-9 again.
I'm not going to rant for like 30 minutes straight. I'll try to keep it very concise. I'm glad that we waited because we wanted everything to kind of come together between free agency and now Pats West. So pretty much Belichick off the bat, he signed Smith.
Right.
Juju Smith, gets him. All right, let's go. I think the biggest surprise was getting Hunter Henry the very next day. Then all of a sudden you just grab the top 2 tight ends in free agency. And I believe I said it last episode, and I'll say it again this episode, where they said, go after the tight ends on the market because it might be cheaper than the wide receivers. You had the Kenny Golladay kind of kicking the tires and kicking the can around, and you didn't know what the wide receiver market was. Overall, a lot of these players went into this offseason that were free agents thinking the market would be paying. Like, we get paid, we're going to get paid. And it was the complete opposite. That's why you saw some of these re-signings, like, and I'll get into it in a little bit, but you saw across the league where money really wasn't there. So again, egg on my face about Kyle Van Noy. I come out and I said, he's going to go to Tennessee. I don't see a reunion. Kyle Van Noy's back with the New England Patriots. He did have an offer to Tennessee, and it was slightly more than New England Patriots. It came out to, do we want to move to another city and start our family and start up everything over again? Or do we want to go right back into New England, slide right in? And that's what Kyle Van Noy did. And my source who told me that said, you were right. You had it on the money. It's just that also where everything started kind of coming together in New England, started opening up everybody's eyes. It became a destination again. Belichick had to change the narrative of the destination was because of Brady. And that's true. People want to go play for Brady. Now he had to spend the money right away, right off the bat, in order to be like, oh, shoot, they're actually building something there. Belichick does have history. The organization has good history. Look at the way they treated Cam Newton all last year. They spoke very highly of him. Maybe I do want to go play there. So then all of a sudden, you sign Jalen Mills. You get Jalen Mills to come over here. You get Kendrick Bourne, who says, I want to go play for the New England Patriots because I want to play for that organization. I want to go hang out with Cam Newton. Again, a reason why Cam Newton was signed, because of recruiting. He's a recruiter. You didn't get Curtis Samuel. Everyone's throwing names to the board. We're going to get this guy. We're going to get that guy. But Pats fans should be happy for what they have. The biggest shocker was David Andrews, 100% David Andrews, because I kept coming in here every episode and I was like, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to take my 70%, go to 60, 50, 40. And it went down to 10%. I'm like, there's no way this guy's coming back, to the point where they had to sign Ted Karras as a center for $4 million because they felt David Andrews was gone. The writing was on the wall. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you had Julian Edelman even in his story posted about David Andrews. Great to share the field with you. He deleted it 13 hours later when David Andrews signed. I can tell you this, for all our listeners out there that actually listen to Boston's Big Three, I don't bullshit. I just throw out what I hear. Sometimes it's right. Sometimes it's wrong. I'm not a journalist. I don't get paid to do this. I might for Instagram in certain ways, but I just post what I hear. And this is what I heard about David Andrews. And this is 100% straight facts. David Andrews was made an offer by the New England Patriots. He said, nope, I'm going to test the market. Rightfully so. The Patriots in turn said, he's going to test the market. We're going to spend our money. They went and got Ted Karras. David Andrews has been offered $8 to $10 million on the market. That's what his going value was, going rate. Teams couldn't pay it. Teams were in cap space hell in certain teams in certain places that he was offered to. Atlanta, Miami made an offer. They just couldn't afford it. So what does David do? He's got to go back to the New England Patriots. What does New England do? Oh, well, David, we spent the money already. So that's what ended up happening in terms of David Andrews' contract, was he's got 4 years at $19.5 million. And you saw how cheap it is this year, right? You're like, oh, wow, this guy's taking a pay cut. He's coming back. He wants to be here. David Andrews wants to be here. He can retire as a Patriot. He'll be in the Pats Hall of Fame. But you will see in this upcoming offseason in 2022, they'll restructure his deal. He'll get what he is worth on the market value. I was also told, and this is obviously already broken during the week, guys like James White and Lawrence Guy were in the very same boat. A guy like James White, I was like, that guy got to go secure the bag somewhere. Teams didn't want to pay him. Look at the contract he just signed. 1 year, $3 million, all guaranteed. Teams didn't want to pay James White. Now you can look at James White last season. I kind of said this in one of our Boston's Big Threes during the season. In an unfortunate circumstance with his family in a personal matter, plus the offense they were running, James White was boggled down. Like he was next to nobody. It was kind of good for Belichick in a way, because you can sign him for that cheap. Like, hey, you missed games last year. You didn't have the same stats. So I like James White coming back. He was offered a contract in Tampa Bay. Guess what? Pats can match it. Why don't you just come back here 1 year? You know the offense. You're a team captain. Then go secure your bag. Same thing with Lawrence Guy. Lawrence Guy was offered a contract from Tampa Bay. He was offered a contract in Miami, and the Patriots could easily match it. And it was one of those things that Lawrence Guy had to weigh his option. That's what's happening with a lot of these players. Maybe a T.Y. Hilton, for example, he put all these eye emojis out there, and he ended up signing a 1 year, $10 million deal with the Colts because he was offered probably a same deal out there. Juju Smith-Schuster, 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers for $8 million. Juju Smith-Schuster should be signed on a team.
Didn't he announce that he was like, "Hey, I'm leaving. Thanks for the memories."
He made this announcement where it was like thanking the fans, and I don't know what's going to end up happening. But the fact that he's coming back for 1 year means he's going to be out next year. A lot of these 1 and 2 year deals is because of the new TV deal that's going to be coming. The cap space will go up next year. There'll be more money to spread around, but you got to look at the New England Patriots. They're absolute winners when it comes to the free agency market. It's just the glaring issue, right? And their defense is completely stacked, by the way. Like, just what they've been building there. I thought Patrick Chung retirement was a little surprised because I thought he was coming back. And based on what was said, he was coming back. And Belichick looked at it and said, "We got your spot covered. We're going to cut you or you can retire." And he retired. That's what he did. There's still a couple glaring issues on defense. Dante Hightower. I said that he was going to retire. Maybe he doesn't retire, but he has this issue of he's getting paid $12 million this year. And if they cut Hightower, they only owe him $2 million. That's $10 million just sitting there. So there should be some sort of restructure deal. They might go to Hightower and say, "We're only going to pay you $5 million this year. We will restructure the deal, but we're only going to pay you $5 million. He's guaranteed $2 million. Does he want to play for another $3 million? So I'm sure Hightower right now is going through the process of, does he want to play for the season or not? And that's why I said about the retirement thing. From what I was told over a year ago, he lost the love of the game of football. Then he had his kid. He said, I'm going to play 1 more year. That's it. Then COVID happened. He opted out. So now he's been out for a year. They already have all his replacements. They have the who they just get? Matthew, right? Judon from Baltimore. They have Hightower's replacement ready to go. And
all I know is they re-signed Jarrett Stidham's replacement.
And Parsons, great pro day. Belichick might be looking his way as well too. So in the 15th overall pick. So Hightower's, just his contract in general, that $10 million could be used somewhere else. Other side, obviously, what you just said, quarterback. Jarrett Stidham, Cam Newton, are they the guys? Yes, no, maybe so. They didn't make a move in free agency in terms of getting a quarterback. They're going to go into the draft. We don't know what's going to happen at the draft.
I do recall you were saying that Cam Newton was going to go to the Washington football team to play for Ron Rivera.
I did. I thought that would be a good landing spot, but guess what? They didn't want him. And guess what they ended up getting? Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick was a better option for them than Cam Newton. The Cam Newton contract is, when we exploded on it, was $14 million, but then you start dumbing it down. He's only getting paid like $3 to $4 million this year, and it's backup money. I look at Cam Newton's contract as an emergency contract. We're going to pay you to be our backup, but if Stidham pukes on himself, because he did it last year, or we go into the draft, we don't find the guy, you're our starter next year, and we're going to make sure you get paid for it. Like, that's the way I look at his contract. But let me tell you something, the Pats West thing that we can get right into.
Yeah. What is
Stidham,
that? Why are both quarterbacks there? If it's
so, it was Stidham needs to do everything right to win the fan base over, to win his organization over, and to show that he's going to compete. He's just going to go down on that sword. He's going to at least show that he's going to compete this year.
Are you the only one he's won over thus far?
There's a couple out there that he's won over. I mean, I think David Andrews coming back on a 4-year deal.
That's fair.
And I've told you, and I've showed you my theories, and you know it. You know it from the background, the connection that Andrews and Stidham truly have. Like, that means something, because Andrews could have just taken another contract somewhere else and said, you know what, I'll come back to. Andrews has to know who the hell, hey, who's quarterback? What are you doing? Like, what's going on here? You got to let a team captain who's handing the ball off to the quarterback know what are we doing? What's our options? So I that's why I said there's something there. And I thought it was interesting that Jarrett Stidham, trying to show some maturity, said, hey, he messaged all these new players and some old players and said, hey, I'm hosting a little throwing camp, a little practice session, a way for everyone to come out to California, where he's been there the last couple of months. Come out there, have some fun. He invited Cam Newton as well, too. What does Cam Newton do? He got a little nervous. I think Cam Newton got a little nervous because all of a sudden, day one of Pats West, there's all these pictures and videos coming out. Cam Newton has to instantly put an Instagram post out there showing that he's working and everything like that. Other players have said that Cam Newton's going to have his own throwing camp down in Atlanta. I think this is Stidham's at least first shot to get this group together. And Cam Newton's out there. Cam Newton's excited, but why is Cam Newton not, they've been doing these after activities with each other. Why is Cam Newton not involved in it? Why is Cam Newton not playing paintball with these guys?
Because you got to protect your starting quarterback.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, we can pull it back to when Vern on
Remember,
what's that show?
I don't know, man. Remember when
Vern
Tom
on
Brady?
Ballers, he ended up was out with the Cowboys and played paintball. He got hurt.
Yeah, remember
Cam
when
Newton
Tom
doesn't
Brady
wanna-
jumped off a
Tom-
cliff and
doesn't wanna
the
do that.
fan base was out for Tom Brady's throat.
Yeah, they were out for Tom Brady on that. I just think that with Pat's West, it was just simple practices, nothing major. Hunter Henry went out there, Lacoste, Asiasi, N'Keal Harry, Kendrick Bourne, Cam Newton was out there. Then they had a couple practice squad guys.
If I knew it was happening, I would have driven out there. I could have taken some photos and video for you guys.
So it's been 4 days. At first it was like they didn't know the location really, and only like 2 or 3 people showed up. Then every day more people showed up. Today on Thursday, day 4 was 60 people, and they had to have security there. And for Cam Newton at least, because everyone's out there to see Cam. Everyone wants to see Cam Newton. That's what people were there for.
Yeah, nobody care about what's the second quarterback?
The other guy's name's Jarrett Stidham.
Oh,
From
yeah, I
the
remember. Okay,
reports that
got that.
I've gotten from people that are out there have said that Cam Newton does look better at his throws. He looks good.
I mean, there's
but
no
they said
defense.
Stidham has also had some great throws out there as well too. He looks good. And
It's like shooting a basketball in an open gym. If there's no one there,
that's what it is. But the
hard to
consensus
gauge
I
it.
think that people are saying was little things like Stidham's taking extra time talking with Nelson Aguilar and just going through some routes. Cam Newton left today. Stidham stayed behind just what Nelson said. Hey, we're going to throw some extra balls together. The difference here is Stidham's showing some maturity to say like he's taking time, and it looks like people are saying this is going to be a competition. It'll be a full-blown competition. And that's what we need. We do need that. Cam needs to be pushed. Stidham needs to be pushed. Mac Jones, whoever you draft needs to be pushed. There needs to be that push in that quarterback position.
I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback. I kind
don't
of have
think
that
so.
gut feeling now.
I think they're going to go Parsons. I think they'll go Parsons at 15. Parsons,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I think they go Parsons.
Who is this guy?
And
He sounds
Brad
like he goes to
Holmes,
Penn
talk to
State if Tyler's this excited.
Talk to us, Tyler.
Hold up. All right, he's not going to be at there at 15. I'd be ecstatic if Michael Parsons is lit. All right, so this is it.
Who is he?
2 years at Penn State, kid from Harrisburg, stayed in Pennsylvania, and he has like all these records and stuff. But he opted out of this past year. He's an insane talent. It's nuts. He's a linebacker. He can do everything on defense. They were even like trying to make him do kick returns. He ran into some legal stuff, but a bunch of that's fake, and that's what I think is making his draft stock go down. But if the Pats could get him, that's a steal of the entire century. However, I want the Patriots to get one guy from Penn State, and it's not Frayer because we have 2 tight ends. It's not Parsons. It's Jason Owe. Ran a 4.36 today. Like the kid is more athletic than Parsons, not as talented, but he's an attacker. He's an edge. Unreal. If the Patriots are still looking for defense, those two are just like some of the like fastest, most physical, and just like hands down the most talented football people I've ever seen.
And I think the Pat Fryer
I'm in
thing's
for both.
definitely done for now that the Pat signed
No bias.
to all-star tight ends.
He's going to Jacksonville.
You
Like
think?
I said, I said that when we had him on here, and I said because of the connection of the tight end coach and stuff, and Trevor, he's out with Trevor Lawrence. They've been practicing together. I mean, it makes sense for him to get picked at the end of the first into early second.
You never know.
So, anyways, back to the quarterback. I don't think they're going to go first
we
round
do get
quarterback.
Parsons.
I think he kicked the tires. I think they might get Parsons at 15 if he's sitting there. If he's at 14 or 13, I think they trade up. I think Belichick wants that because Belichick's looking for his future Dante Hightower. He's looking for his future captain. He's looking for the future right
I think
there.
they trade the
Parsons
pick.
will be it.
I think Belichick finally throws in the white flag and says, "We can't draft first-round talent. Let's go find first-round talent in the 3rd, 4th round." That's the Belichick way, and that works. That works more often than it does than hitting on the first rounder. So,
I will say this from this past week. So Stidham's been getting roasted today on Twitter. Someone had a video of him complete overthrow, just a bad throw, and the kid posted it and was like, I have more of this content on my Instagram. Like, go check it out. And I checked it out. And all it is was good throws from Stidham and Cam Newton and pictures and tagging them and stuff like that. He just wanted to post that on Twitter just to destruct Jarrett Stidham. And that's fine.
I'm here
and then
for
I'm reading these chats and people are saying, The ball's wobbly. He's a professional. It's an open, like you said, open gym. No, no defense. He's overthrowing it. It's embarrassing. Brady's done that. Every quarterback's overthrown, bad routes, whatever it is. Who cares? It's one bad throw, and he's getting roasted for it. I'm telling you, Stidham is completely self-aware of everyone shitting on him. He posted every day at Pat's West. People calling him quarterback 2. People saying you're Cam's backup. You're a nobody. That's got to have some drive
QB4.
to him. If that was you every day, Brendan, just like you're in the NFL, Brendan, right? Yeah, you might not have the capabilities of a quarterback one right away, but you're like, I'm trying to work for a starting job. Wouldn't that get to you?
Totally.
Everyone's shitting on you constantly
Easily.
every day.
Got to have the right mental.
That's what it is. And
I
who
think
did he
Stidham's
learn
got it,
that from?
but I don't
For
think he's got the
1 year,
talent.
you got to learn that from Tom Brady. I will say this. I am Jarrett Stidham's biggest hype man. I'm the hype king for Jarrett Stidham because I believe in him. I believe in the
That's
kid.
a hot take. I did not see that one coming.
No, and I thought this was funny. Stidham's been creeping on the Spike Kings page every time, every day. I've been swiping up and seeing who views my stories. Jarrett Stidham's there. I don't even tag him on anything. He's looking. I don't know if he's looking that he's waiting for me to announce that he's cut, he's traded, or he's starting, or he's like, what video does this guy have of me? But Stidham, if you're listening, you're going out there, Stidham. If you're listening, just give me a follow. Let's talk. Let's just talk, man. That's it.
He's your biggest hype man. You never know.
I'm there to hype him up. He's the Brock Lesnar, and I am the Paul Heyman. I am there.
I don't know what that
Just
means.
tell everybody. The little wrestling fans that follow us will know that is.
Do we have those?
But listen, I seen some pictures and I've heard other things. Stidham and Cam Newton are on the same page. Whether whoever starts, they're on the same page. You need that. You need that for the season. There's chemistry. And the fact of the matter is this: if you take anything from Patriots West, they didn't get to do this last year. They didn't get to come together. Chemistry is already building in the month of March. This is what the Pats need on offense. I'm glad that this has happened.
Yeah, well, speaking of new names and new places, today was the NBA trade deadline. Celtics got a new acquisition. Didn't say goodbye to too many guys that, have a lot of minutes. But Tyler, if you want to jump into what the Celtics did and who they acquired today and who they said good riddance to.
Jeff Teague, I would have bought his flight out.
Finally.
That didn't work. We can all say that. People are like, but he's played so well these last 2 games. Why are you giving up? Trade value just went through the roof. Obviously, you trade him now. Rob Will is the Celtics center of the future. Love to see that. However, Theis, I won't ever hate on Theis. Theis came into Boston. Literally nobody knew who he was. And he overproduced because he was never going to be anything super special. But I think he definitely overproduced from what people thought. He was traded strictly for financial reasons. There's no.
I hate when trades like that go down because it's always like it's just money.
It said they all said their final goodbyes in the locker room. And Brad Stevens got to break the news. I'm like, because Tyson is the man.
Yeah.
Like, I miss getting mad at refs because Tyson just got clobbered, but somehow it's a foul on him.
Exactly.
However, time to move on. Obviously, they were not going to plan to re-sign him this offseason, so might as well rip the Band-Aid now, get under the cap, and I don't know, just keep him moving. Like Mo Wagner, he's not going to do anything for the Celtics. Like the bar is as low as what it is for Jeff Teague before he got traded. And if he's anything better than that, that's overproducing in my
Now they have an open roster spot, if I'm doing my math correctly, because they welcomed Evan Fournier and Mo Wagner and said goodbye to Javonte, Jeff, and Theis, right?
Yeah.
So is that an open roster spot?
This season is what I'm saying. I think he's going to go Miami, but there's no reason not to get LaMarcus Aldridge on this team if you have the ability. And then you get Fournier, who is one of the best, I think, acquisitions of the deadline, especially if you're talking about like a trade for a value person. Obviously, like Oladipo going to the Heat is the biggest splash, but strictly value. Everybody complained this whole year that the problem is the bench. The bench stinks. This bench is terrible. And Fournier is now the new best player coming off the bench. And what people don't understand, he's like a 4th option late game scorer that we just have now.
Pretty close.
I think it goes the Jays, obviously, and then you can put Kemba or Smart, but I'd put whatever your preference is, then Fournier, and
it's
then
a very small lineup.
No, that's a bad lineup, but it's another just strictly scorer that you have at the end of the game.
I like that.
If it doesn't work out, he walks. We get some of the money back from trade exception. Then we're back to the drawing board with a little less money. But this is if you're going to risk it, and if you're going to complain about the bench, and Danny Ainge does something and sends away pennies, and people are going to be mad. 2 second-round picks aren't going to be playing for the main Red Claws. That's on them. You can't be mad at Danny Ainge for not making moves, and he makes moves today. And now it's too far.
And the last time they acquired someone at the deadline, you got to go back a few years. It's our boy, King of the Fourth, Isaiah Thomas. That's the last guy they acquired at the deadline. So hopefully this kind of plays out. You never know.
Daniels, we have you never know who you're gonna get. But I love the Fournier trade. I'm glad that those meatheads on Twitter that think that Smart should have been traded stayed. You guys are a bunch of idiots. I love that Rob Williams stayed. I know I had a graphic coming up that said if the Celtics were to make a trade that Rob Will or Pritchard were going to be the ones they went. That's only for a superstar talent.
That's to get something of extreme value back. I totally understood what you meant by it.
That was made today that was putting the Celtics over the edge. So might as well fix this year's problem. And if Aflalo likes it, not Aflalo, Fournier likes it, he stays. And he's a good basketball player. So I'm not going to complain about a good basketball player resigning. He's an expiring contract.
What's the deal with his name? I saw a lot of people saying don't Google him.
Did you Google the last name?
I didn't.
Google it right now. Do you have a computer in front of you?
I do. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so just Google his last name, strictly his last name.
And
then click images.
And then click. Oh, don't. I didn't click images, but read the.
You gotta click images.
Okay, I just Googled it. Fournier gangrene.
Now click images.
Necrotic infection of the scrotum, penis, or perineum. It is characterized by scrotum pain and redness. Oh, with rapid progression to gangrene and What is that? Sloughing of tissue. Oh.
All right, we got Evan Sloppy Balls on our team.
So I hate that.
Either way,
I get it now, though.
I like Fournier, the basketball player, definitely not the disease. And I think I don't know, we're only a game or 2 or 3 out of 4.
The 5 seed, the 4 seed. It's the top 3 are set. It's you're battling for the 4th spot.
I just want to talk about
However, the Celtics fans are coming back, and if you don't think that's playing whatever it is, role and how the success of this is going to go, the Celtics fans are coming back. The Celtics finally made a shakeup. Although it's twice, there's something of hope, because I've been a dead man watching these games, and I don't think that they're going to win tomorrow. But I think
worked out for the Bruins tonight with fans there. Yeah, it really worked out.
Hey, at least there's someone there to boo them now, get them back into shape. We're not a hockey show, Babs. What is that? We're gonna have to censor that.
I will say, I give the Celtics credit when they played Milwaukee game 1 and they're down by 20 something points and they fought back. It's just how can in the last 2 minutes, how can Jason Tatum not take a shot? How can Jaylen Brown just be ghosted in the last 90 seconds?
Daniel, that's gonna be Daniel Theis' legacy. That's his last shot in Boston is a chance for a game winner, and he doinks it.
It just bothers me that Tatum is not assertive enough. Even a couple games ago where they're down 3 points and and Marcus Smart's wide open, sure. But you had the easy basket to cut it to 1 and you have momentum on your side and you fucking pass it out for this guy to airball it or just barely hit the rim. Yeah. Marcus Smart was 3 for 13 yesterday, 2 for 10 at 3-pointers.
He's just my thing about him, he's good at the start of a game. I don't think he's got the legs to finish a game, to keep shooting that kind of numbers. I think his best game ever was against the Suns when he knocked down 10 or 11 threes, something like that. But when you look at Tatum, man, I totally agree. This guy has to drive to the basket. He is the most talented player on the team by far, right above Jaylen Brown and Kemba. But this guy needs to drive to the basket. This guy can't be taking contested outside shots his entire career. It's not going to get him anywhere. He needs to get to the free throw line and get another 10, 12 points in there. And that's going to be the key to the Celtics' success for a long time.
He needed to work on that this season. That's what you need to work on. And that's fine if you it's just this year was supposed to be a learning year. You got him locked up. So that's good. But this is the year where you craft your game, because then in the off season, hopefully that's when they make the ultimate push to try to figure this out. And
Right.
you have that whole off season now, official full off season where you can get the whole team chemistry back in order. I feel like he just doesn't care this season. I feel like he's mailed it in. Like, doesn't give a shit.
What's the Celtics record since our last show? It's been what, 10 days since we recorded? They maybe won once or twice, if that. They've lost some heartbreakers.
Magic, Rockets or something.
Yeah, Magic,
know,
Rockets.
I mean, they're bad.
They're not
There's
great.
no trade.
If anything, they're
is
500
my-
right now. Hello? Loki.
Am I coming in like super late again?
I can hear you starting the question, but not finishing it.
That's that Penn State University.
Yeah, where's your tuition
Wi-Fi.
dollars going to? They're not going to Wi-Fi?
Yeah, they don't go to.
Might as well be going to a furnace because nothing changes around here.
But it is what it is. Let's move on to some March Madness. It has been an eventful last 10 days since we last spoke to each other. The first four got underway. The first and second rounds went underway. I flew out to Indianapolis.
I also got exposed on our Final Four. That was the first time I looked at the bracket.
Oh, yeah?
My Final Four,
It's
however,
pretty bad.
is still incredibly blown up. But I didn't
Let's go back to it.
misrepresentation.
find it.
Misrepresentation, I'll say.
I thought
I
it was
did have
just
one where
I still got 3 teams left in it.
what Watabe over here. Just every time a team gets knocked out, Tyler, he made sure he lets it know.
I did for when Iowa got knocked out, I did too.
You secretly
It's
did it. You
so
didn't tell
fair in
anybody.
love
You
and
made sure to
war.
make separate. You made separate posts.
I put it on the close friend story on Instagram. Just choose better Final Four teams, Babs.
I chose the champion, and my champion's still in it. Your
Gonzaga's
champion
gonna
is
win
2.
that.
Tyler's is not.
Mine is too. But mine's a Big Ten school,
Gonzaga's
so I don't know if they're gonna win.
Who do you have winning?
Michigan. And they don't have a point guard anymore,
It's
so
gonna be Gonzaga's to lose. I mean,
it is Gonzaga's right now.
Loyola's good. They're gonna fall off.
Sister Jean.
Give me Loyola
Sister
Chicago.
Jean.
Give me Loyola Chicago to the Final Four, to the championship.
USC, the Mobley brothers, they're gonna make it far.
No, they're gonna get knocked out by Oregon.
Bama has a cakewalk.
They do
to the
now.
Elite
Texas is
Eight.
gone.
But they're
It is-
fraudulent.
I-
They'll
it's
get
fun.
beat.
Syracuse, I think they beat Houston. Buddy.
I
They do
think
too.
they may too. Yeah, Houston's really good, but they worked hard to get to the Sweet 16. Buddy Boeheim just kind of did whatever he wanted to.
Oral
I-
Roberts is
Who? Oral Roberts is done. I don't know what Tyler's saying right now, but their Cinderella run is definitely over this weekend.
He's like maybe 40 hours to take a hole.
What'd you say?
Oh my god, my internet. I don't know why my internet stinks.
It's all right. We all know you were saying Oral
It's-
Roberts' Cinderella run is
Nobody
over
else
this
is on the
weekend.
internet.
You know what? I think he's saying that UConn definitely deserves more credit. I think
Hey,
it's what he
you know, man, I'll tell you, they don't. They laid an egg. They played so poor, and I've complained to these guys already about it. I flew out. I flew out for that game. Every bet I made this for the first round relied and revolved around UConn winning, and they did not. I had a 11-team parlay that I missed on because UConn lost, and I've had to deal with that in the days since. But I made the trip out there. It was kind of fun. I've never been to March Madness before, so
Talk to us about Indy, the scene that they had set up
it was
there.
fun. It was a lot of fun. So I flew into Chicago because I couldn't find a flight anywhere near Indianapolis for cheap, especially
It's a
the week.
decent drive down there too.
Yeah, especially the week of the game. But it worked out for me because UConn was playing in West Lafayette, which is basically halfway between Chicago and Indy. So I got a hotel there. I rented a car in Chicago that morning. Drove down, went to the first game I went to was Baylor Hartford at Lucas Oil Stadium. I got to see the 2014 AFC finalist banners from our friends over at the Colts. I did not think that banner was real. I thought it was an online joke. It's real. They have a few of those hanging up, AFC finalists, of just making the thing. But other than that, I won my first bet of March Madness with Hartford plus 26 covered in the last minute of the game. You love to see it. There was a Baylor minus 26 guy right in front of me, which is kind of heartbreaking for him. But winners only here. But it was a really cool environment seeing just in Indianapolis where the entire tournament is taking place there. So when I was walking downtown, I probably saw 5 groups of the team buses just coming in and out because every venue is circled around there some way, somehow. Each of the team hotels was downtown. So I couldn't tell you whose team buses I saw, but I definitely saw about half dozen of those groups just traveling in and out, especially at Lucas Oil where they had 2 venues.
I like the JW Marriott and how they
Yeah.
had the whole big bracket, but I wish that they would update it as things were
That
going
thing,
on.
yeah, that thing was enormous.
Would've been
I mean, if
cool.
they were
That-
updating it, you'd have to get like one of those window
They need to
washers.
hire somebody to
Yeah.
do that. That's
I'll do
where
it.
like
Hey, you pay me. I'll go back out there. I'll spray paint it up on the Marriott.
that's where all the visiting teams that play the Colts, like that's where they stay at that
Okay.
that hotel right there.
That's a nice
at
hotel.
Lucas Oil. It's a nice, really nice hotel. Yeah.
And that was that giant bracket, I think, is like the biggest bracket that's ever been done. So it's like a world record or something. So that's what
Watabe
they're
and Tyler,
advertising.
Tyler Miller. I'm going to ask you this: if you still have
Indy was
Wi-Fi,
fun.
what do you think about the women's and men's differences between their gym equipment and their food and how that went viral? Can you talk to us about that?
I know more about it than Tyler.
It's bad. Let's lead off with the fact that it's bad, but I think the not funnier part, but the are you kidding me part of this is that it was so quick, the turnaround that the NCAA did
Yeah.
to get the gyms like right. The fact that they couldn't do that originally is kind of
Right.
what, dude? Like it literally took you one day and a couple social posts to get it right. Like,
And that's what I
there's-
love
do you
about
know
it.
how many people that have to go through that decision? They have to have so many people go through that decision to make sure it's the right one, and all of them said, "Yeah, just give them
you think
a calisthenics weight and make
Yeah.
it a yoga
Do you
mat."
think it's something that NCAA just forgot about? Because there's no way like that. That was a lot. That was a lot to be overlooked.
No, the
I
NCAA
don't.
is just stupid people. They're filled with morons.
I don't
That's fair.
believe I don't believe them either, where they tried pinning it off like, well, we have to wait till equipment frees up for the men's in order to give it to the women. I don't think that. I just think that it was a bunch of dudes. It's probably all old white men sitting around a boardroom saying, "Oh, the women don't need workout equipment.
Right.
Like they don't need anything. Like just like who cares? No one's watching them anyways." And I'm sure they all sat there and said, "Who cares?" And again, it's just the boomer generation that runs everything. They don't understand that the power of a cell phone and TikTok and Twitter and social media, how things can quickly blow up. They just figured no one's going to talk about it. It'll get buried. No.
And one of my
it went
favorite
out
things, the athlete from Oregon that like recorded the viral video named Sedona Prince, the very next day after equipment like arrived to the women's tournament down in San Antonio, she dunked in a game, which was pretty cool. So it was like they use it. She's dunking. So but
Wait,
UConn's
she did?
yeah, she did. Her name's Sedona Prince. You can look it up.
Is UConn in that tournament?
UConn is in that tournament, and they're the favorites to win it right now.
UConn, baby.
UConn.
They're a basketball school. They
They're
are a basketball school.
They're a basketball,
Tyler, we don't-
school, but they're carried by the women's program.
Yeah, there's no gender men's. It's basketball school, Tyler. That's
It
what they
is.
are, and they have championships to prove it.
And Gino's the greatest coach. He's up there with Nick Saban. Can't deny it.
This is a
One of
little
the best-
suspect.
Yeah, he's one of the best college coaches there ever was. So, you know his name.
I definitely know. He's someone who goes by one name. So that
Exactly.
he made
You
it.
say Gino, you know what coach we're talking about. It's not a player or a coach, or he's a champ, baby. But
Will they ever try to cancel Gino one day in this
Oh, no.
cancel culture we live in?
did you
Would
see how
something ever?
did you
I
see
think
how
that
loved
They
so
canceled Mr. Potato Head. Anybody.
and we could be canceled next week for all we know.
I should have been canceled already. Like 4 years ago.
There was a great video actually, because Gino didn't get to coach the first 2 games of the tournament on the women's side because he had COVID. So he's been quarantining and dealing with COVID, trying to get back onto the floor. But there was a great video where he actually got back to the team yesterday or the day before, and the team just kind of embraces him, and it's a little magical, happy moment. Give you all the feelings. You know, it's just one of those.
I hope
great,
the Spike Twins get
great
to go
moments.
there one day. They
Oh, yeah.
better start picking up a basketball now and start
Hey,
training.
You got to get them in early. Have them watching
Yeah.
some of that UConn basketball. Get them
Yeah,
inspired.
that's what- I'm gonna have to. I got twins. My
Yeah.
girl loves basketball, so I've got to be all in on women's
Exactly.
basketball.
I'll come coach them.
That's fine.
Tyler might
I'm
be
a
a better
bad coach.
coach.
They can't listen to. I can't touch anything. I ruin it. I can't.
But jumping back into March Madness, do you guys want to choose who you have winning it all at this point, going into the Sweet 16 this weekend? Repick it. You get a second chance. Who's winning it all? I don't know if Tyler can even hear us right now. He looks a little frozen.
He's frozen.
Babs, who you got winning it all right now?
I don't have the bracket in front of me, but I still have Gonzaga winning it all. I still think that I listen to, when I drive home to work now, you get Fox Sports radio, simulcast all over the country. And they were saying like, and actually I'll ask this question to you two, because you guys are the big college guys. Is there a villain in March Madness right now? Is there a team or a player that you just like absolutely are rooting against that you despise?
It's not like a villain role. I would say Alabama probably, because they're just one of those, like, if you think about like the team I would compare them to is like, oh, we lost them. Is like the 2016 Celtics. No, they're just like a scrappy underdog team. They're the 2 seed and they're the top seed in their region behind Michigan. But I think they're gonna stir the pot a little. They're an aggressive team. They're gonna get to the line. They're gonna shoot their threes. They're gonna body bag you by 30 points, and they're not gonna care. And they're just gonna march their way. If they get to the Final Four, they're gonna have to go through Michigan. And I think that's a team to watch out for. I think Loyola Chicago's legit. I think
they are too.
I tweeted something during the round of 64, and I kind of want it to come true. Speak it into existence. Something like a prediction. It's not a prediction. Might be a spoiler. You never know. But I tweeted this out. Gonzaga's first loss of the season could come at the hands of Loyola, and I would be all for it.
I picked Gonzaga all the way.
Yeah,
but I am all for Loyola Chicago to win it all. I'm all for Sister Jean. We're team Sister Jean.
I'm not sure
if you root against Sister Jean, you're going to hell. Like you are completely going to hell.
We made money. We made money that Sunday when Sister Jean's Loyola Chicago beat Illinois. Never fade Sister Jean on a Sunday. Never again.
No,
if the national championship is on a Sunday and Loyola's playing, you bet.
It's on a Monday though. It's on a Monday. Remember?
I don't know about that now.
Are they playing Saturday or Sunday this week?
I think I would assume Saturday.
I think they're playing Saturday. Saturdays are for the boys.
Not great. Yeah, Sundays for Sister Jean.
Sundays are for Sister Jean.
But that would be the Cinderella story I want to see the most. I think who's left? Roberts is left too.
I think Syracuse is going to make a run for the championship.
Okay. They have 11 seed.
They are 11 seed. So I've been on a terrible sports gambling last 4 weeks, and I have never won.
That's what March Madness is for. It's fun.
But when you don't win, you're studying everything around you. And Syracuse, I believe, started off real cold in the season because of COVID, like every other team. But I think Buddy is on such a hot streak and run. Just like Tyler Miller said earlier on, I think they have a legitimate shot to beat Houston. And you keep riding that momentum, man. I think they get into the Elite Eight, and I think they get into the Final Four.
Is Buddy the coach's kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and again, I like storylines like Gonzaga going undefeated. Undefeated Gonzaga going up against Sister Jean sells. It sells. It makes you want to watch as a casual. Like you're like, I don't know these teams. One's undefeated. One has a 101-year-old.
That's like the Duke
Jean.
Butler. That's like Duke Butler 10 years ago.
It sells, right? It sells. Same thing on the other side. The Syracuse, the coach, a pristine coach. Everyone knows him. His son, who's on fire, like not just the coach's son, who's like, oh, he's playing. He's on fire. He carries that team. In Syracuse's game, I think the first 19 points they're in their second game, he had 16 of them. Like he carried that squad. So
I love those storylines you're talking about, but God, I hate Syracuse. I do not want to see them do anything successful. I hate watching them be successful.
I feel like it just that the orange will come out. I don't know. Michigan's a seller too. Michigan's a seller as well.
They're good, but they're not going to make it again. I didn't realize their point guard was out when I picked them to win it all, but I'm not going to make excuses.
I just don't like Arkansas, right? They're still
Arkansas's very good. I like them. I like their chances to make Final Four.
I feel like those first 2 games, they just look sloppy. I don't know if it's the nerves. Sometimes it's nerves setting in.
Yeah.
It just gets harder and harder. Same thing with Alabama. I think Alabama is a little fraudulent as well too.
But if you put Arkansas up against Baylor, I like Arkansas's chances. That's gonna happen to
I like Baylor.
the Elite
I
Eight.
think I think Baylor now. You just start seeing it.
Yeah.
You see the comfortability of these teams, how they can just be cutthroat right away. That's what you got to be.
And that's what I love about it. Like, I was so ecstatic. Like, I'll release a video. I did like a whole little like road trip thing video while I was out in Indy, but I was so happy March Madness was back, man. Like, just the upsets, the clutch shots, the fun storylines we keep talking about, the gambling. I wanted that injected into my veins. Like, just the excitement of it all being back at one moment.
All day. Like, it's just all day. There's games going on. You're looking at your phone. You're looking at the scoreboards and this and that. And then now it's coming down. It gets a little bit smaller, but now it's like you have a game and then you have another game. Now it's more spread, but you're watching every game. So it's awesome. It's great and then it gets sad when it gets towards the end. It's that first weekend. It's exciting. It's like, oh shit, you don't know what the upsets are going to be.
And the one shining moment video. That's my favorite part. Like, if UConn's not winning the entire thing, my favorite part of the championship is the moment before they present the trophy, when CBS does the one shining moment video. It highlights every single school is represented in that video, showing some of the best plays, the best shots, the best moments of that March Madness. Easily one of my favorite moments in all of sports, on top of literally everything. Like, if I could watch those for the rest of my life, I would. Like, leading up to the tournament, I probably watched 25 years worth of those one shining moment videos on YouTube. Just like the excitement you get for it being back, like that all plays into it. And it was a joy to be a part of. I will definitely be going back to March Madness again. Definitely a wonderful experience, especially when you go to a 16-1 matchup and the 16 covers. Yeah. You love to see it.
Have they announced where it would be next year at all?
I think it's going to be spread out again. Like, it is very cool.
But I'm talking about the main, like.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they have the Final Four set for like the next 4 years. I know it's back in Phoenix in like another 5 years, something like that. But it will be varying location, especially with the regions. I know Tyler talked about that on the last show, having the regions go back to actually meaning something and not be all based in one.
That's another thing too, is you can tell over the last weekend and even this upcoming weekend, not having a packed crowd, it hurts. Like, for the momentum of a team. If you're like you said, if you're a 1 seed and you're down in the first 10 minutes and it's just close game, that everybody in that stadium's rooting for the underdog. Like, everyone's always trying to root for the underdog.
I got stories now. Like, the 16 seed, it was Hartford, so that's another Connecticut school going up against a 1 seed powerhouse in Baylor. No one's expecting Hartford to win that game, but they're putting up a fight. Like, it was only like, I want to say like a 14 point game at halftime, but
you're rooting for that. You're rooting for Hartford.
It was a single digit game up until the not very end of halftime, maybe. But underdog story, we had up on the Jumbotron of that game, the Oral Roberts Ohio State game, and the crowd was buzzing when that game came down to the wire. Like, crowd was electric, more so than anything. They were watching the Hartford game, but they literally, they were only playing like snippets of the other game when the game we were at wasn't going on. And it came down to the wire. Like, it was at the under 30-second mark, and our game, the Baylor Hartford game, resumed it from a timeout, and they took it off the Jumbotron, and the crowd booed. Everyone was booing. They wanted to see Oral Roberts, Ohio State. And then when they finally put it back on, there was a quick foul on the floor. So I don't know if it was intentional.
They probably purposely did
exactly.
That,
I don't know if it was something legit, but Oral Roberts was back on the screen.
Too.
Exactly. And Oral Roberts goes in and completes the upset. Ohio State misses their last shot. Crowd's buzzing. Crowd's electric. They're like, what if that happens here? There's no chance it's happening here because it's already the second half and nothing. They're not even within 20. But what an experience, man. Like, just, I would love to go to another one of those, see another upset, see an upset happen. I mean, the game I went to was an upset, Maryland, UConn, but we'll live to fight another day. We will live to fight another day. But man, if you can't tell, I was so happy March Madness was back, and it has been a
and you know what?
Part.
You know what, Brendan?
Yeah.
Sports are back.
This
is like your first, like, I know you were already out there.
I'm going to something.
I know you've been to a couple NBA games. This is the kickoff for the summer.
Back.
Like,
I'll be
back.
I'll be up in Boston next week.
Are you gonna what game are you going to next week?
I'm going to everything while I'm up there, man. I'm going to opening day.
So you're going Monday?
Yeah, No, it's a Thursday.
Oh, opening day.
Opening day.
Yeah.
Not the Celtics. No. Opening day, that entire series against Baltimore, because I said it on the show before. Opening series against Baltimore, that's all you can ask for to get some momentum early in the season. So I'll be going to that entire series, and then I got Celtics Rockets, and then Celtics Hornets.
Okay.
So those will be some. Hopefully, those are wins. I mean,
I'll say this
Rocks
about
are
the
in tank mode.
Celtics. They have a back-to-back coming up right now. So they're playing Milwaukee, and then I don't know if they play Charlotte in the second game. Oh no, they play Oklahoma City. So they play Oklahoma City the second game. I was reading this on Celtics Reddit, and they were saying you should just sit Kemba the first game and let him play the second game.
Yeah.
Try to go for the win against the Thunder, then try to go for the win against the Bucks. That's actually something.
That's a
keep an eye
great
on.
point.
Because Kemba's only gonna play one game. So
yeah,
why
he's
don't
only
you
playing the first part of a back-to-back.
I want you
Why
to
not
make
play in the second half?
I want you to make a graphic
Yeah.
ASAP, and it's a Spike King says that the Celtics should sit Kemba the first game and they should start him the second game. Make me look smart at
You mean
least.
the other way around?
Kemba should sit the first game and start the second
There
game.
you
We
go.
should play against
Right.
the Thunder.
Oh, okay. My fault. My
Yeah.
head was twisted.
Because I
Gotcha.
guess they're hurting as well too. They're a skeleton crew team right now, the Thunder.
Oh yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's out for the foreseeable
Sit
future.
Kemba, try your best against Milwaukee. Just try your best. Don't get blown out completely, but
I don't
win
think
against
they
Thunder.
will though.
But the whole point of the story is you have 7 games at home coming up in front of fans.
You got to take more than
You
half.
got to take advantage of it. 5 out of 7.
You got to take
at
5.
least win 5 out of
Yep.
7. No one's going to care about everything else. And like you said earlier, they're only a couple games out of the 4 seed.
Yeah.
They're there. You're not touching Milwaukee. You're not touching the Sixers. You're not touching the Nets. That's fine. Worry about that in the playoff run. What did I say? 20 games. That's all you need. Get this team together. On Monday, you're going to have your new acquisitions in here. Just start gelling. Start trying to be something. Now you have fans. Now you can't hide Jason Tatum. You're going to have fans
You got to
booing you.
go to work.
They're going to boo you and cheer you. And they're going to tell you. And when I can't wait for Monday. That's the only game I'm going to be able to go to. And I'm going to be there with GRD. They're going to hear you. It's like you said, they're going to hear you. You can hear anything. You're going to hear people with 300s.
You can literally yell anything you want at any player. They will hear you.
We're going to yell stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to hear us. So I can't wait for that.
I love it.
They need to do. I'm root for this. I'm not hating the Celtics. Like I said, they should tank. And makes a little bit more sense now the way the team's been playing.
Yeah.
Just get a higher draft pick because this year doesn't matter. But I want to root for them because there's going to be playoff basketball, and you want to root for playoff basketball.
Right.
You want to root for them to at least fucking do something.
It's just so surprising how unbelievably mediocre they are this year.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
And it'd be up front like Jason Tatum. Do you just not care? Is that what it is? Does Danny Ainge know that? And just try in the off season, guys. Just be a middle of the pack team. There's good. But again, you can give the excuses last year because of the COVID bubble. Then you can give the excuse that they had a shortened off season, and then they just jump right into it. These players are probably Jason Tatum is exhausted. Just I just want to be home chilling. I just don't. This day in, day out grueling grind.
They're playing a lot of games in a short amount of time this season.
They are. I think you could be mentally drained for all we know. But I will say this, Brendan, it's going to be tough for Celtics fans to accept it when you see the Philadelphia 76ers, who, by the way, are still playing top tier basketball without Joel Embiid.
Yeah, they're one seed still.
They're still good. And
check those scores. I got them in a parlay today.
Yeah. And someone texted me and said Dwight Howard got ejected from the game from shoving a ref. I don't know anything more than that, but
it's tied at halftime.
Sixers versus Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals should just be the absolute thorn in the side to Celtics fans.
Oh yeah, that'll be heartbreaking.
Because those two teams that you've always had, we're laughing at we always had the Sixers number, or vice versa.
And the trades.
Brooklyn. And the trade, you fleece them and this and that. All of a sudden,
both those teams are responsible for Jason Tatum being on the Celtics. Yep, both of them together.
The Brooklyn Nets form a superpower team, and then the Philadelphia 76ers waited out, and they got Doc Rivers, who's the coach that got you the championship, is now over there. Yeah. That's gonna hurt. And if one of those teams wins it, and I fully expect the Lakers not to win this year. I fully expect.
Well, both their stars are hurt.
I think LeBron and AD might talk it out and be like, we won our championship. Who gives a shit? they're going to be in the playoffs. We'll try.
I'm totally
We'll see what
okay with
happens.
that. I hate the Lakers more than any team in the East. So let them have it.
The Nets or the Sixers are going to be the team that's hungry enough to take advantage of it right now.
I think the Sixers would be the hungriest.
I think that one of those teams are going to win, and it's going to be terrible for GRD for his account. It's going to be terrible for Celtics fans because that's all you're going to hear. The Boston Celtics. You haven't done anything. It'll
be terrible for Tyler because he's out in Philly.
Oh, he's going to be listening to it. It'd be great for me because I have a future bet on the Philadelphia 76ers to win the championship.
Oh God.
$100 to win 1,000. So
that's not terrible.
I put that in
10 to 1
weeks ago.
That's not bad.
A couple of weeks ago, I put that in before Joel Embiid went down. The second
I
put that in,
now.
the next night, what happens? Joel Embiid goes down. So it's just my luck, you know.
Yeah, it is what it is. Winners only here, but we can we can wrap up here. No, I'm in the hole too, bro. I'm in the hole bad from that UConn game.
I'm thank you for doing the Instagram live with me. I liked those.
Oh yeah.
So
we can post that. I could, if you have that, I could download it, post it as like a bonus episode.
Didn't you post the Instagram live onto Boston's Big Three?
It's on the Instagram. It's not on like our platforms though.
So, but
like
that's the whole
Spotify.
point. Is like, I think we need to do that once in a while, like just a short 20-minute, like we're together. Because I'll tell you this, I haven't done Instagram live. It's tough for the kiddos, right? It's really tough to do it. So what happens is they were sleeping. You know, I live in an apartment, so things are very compact compared to living in a house prior to this. You know, we were moving around and this, that. So my little office area is in our bedroom, and the kids were sleeping in the bedroom. We just moved them over their cribs now, and they're sleeping in their own bedroom now, which is awesome. So say on Friday night, tomorrow night, I put the kids to bed at 8:00. I might have a couple mixed drinks. I'm going to watch the Celtics, and my girl works till 2 a.m. I might go on an Instagram live at nighttime and talk to little Patriots. I might want to talk a little Boston's Big Three.
That's my favorite team. That's my favorite podcast.
But my thing is we've been I noticed Instagram live, even GRD numbers have been going up lately.
People got time.
Numbers have been up there, so it's good. That's why I'm saying we should do those more often.
Yeah, kick it.
I had to get you that night because of the UConn loss.
Oh.
And then the money loss. Money hurts. Losing money, big money, it hurts.
And when it's on your own team, though, your own school,
it hurts.
That was even more.
It's kicking the balls.
Yeah.
It makes you like you're picking yourself back up, but I know that the rest of the March Madness, there'll always be that little lingering depression going on. It's like, this could have been UConn.
Exactly.
Like, this could have been UConn. Like,
I'm happy. I talked to Jay about this because Alabama whooped on Maryland in the second round. So I'm happy that wasn't UConn because that was just embarrassing.
So you're making it seem like, UConn was only going to get so far anyways.
I mean, I didn't have them in any of my Final Fours. Maybe once. Also, how do you feel about that? That's my last question for you. How do you feel? There's kind of been this debate on Twitter about if it's one person, one bracket, or if it's one person, make all the brackets you want. Like make 25 brackets. How do you feel? What's your stance on that?
So, all right. So
do you think one person, one bracket?
If you're trying to go for the perfect bracket, yeah. I mean, yeah, because then it's tough. It's one person, one bracket. You only get one bracket. So here's the thing. You make one bracket and say you play in 10 different bracket leagues, you have to use the same bracket.
Okay.
You have to use it. That's the bracket you picked. It's the bracket you go with. You can't say my one bracket I had this, and my one bracket I had this, and my other bracket. No,
that's my one mental. Like I totally agree with that, but it's just so fun to make so many brackets. Like I did like 3 different brackets where I had like a random
holding on to hope.
I had like a random color generator I got so far in, and like choosing whatever color of the team.
Tyler's done for. It's over for him. Like, but he's still gonna watch. He respects the game.
Right.
Like that's what it is. And plus, you can still pick up points here and there. Like, yeah, Ohio State was out? Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I got that wrong. But guess what? Gonzaga, I picked him as champion. Champion, technically in the Yahoo bracket, they get 62 points. I believe that's what they get. They get some crazy number.
You get a lot of points if you
get a lot of points for a champion. So that's what matters.
And I'm surprised this argument hasn't come up. Like the entertainment factor versus college and the NBA right now, it's not even close. It's not close right now, especially with all the stars in the NBA going down with injury in the last like 2 weeks. It's unbelievable how much more exciting the college game is to watch right now. And that's just one of the fun parts about March Madness. And it's why they make like $4 or $5 billion on it every year.
Well, I said that, March brings sports back, and it does. Yeah. March Madness. And this is what we didn't have last year.
The Kickstarter.
Like you didn't even get it. It starts it because what's after March Madness? playoff
Baseball.
hockey and basketball. Yeah. So baseball,
Baseball, then
but
playoffs.
baseball.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. For baseball enthusiasts like yourself, you like baseball, but April baseball, it's still preseason. Still a lot of people.
That's fair,
Especially in Boston, man. It's cold. You're
Yeah.
gonna go 40-degree weather. Same thing in Wrigley Field. It's cold, it's
Yeah.
gross, rainy. Actually, the best thing to do, Brendan, what you got to do. This is the T-Guns method, Tom Holloway. Any rain out games, because it happens a lot in Boston, especially in April, the day of the game, it might rain out, it might not. You can get tickets as cheap as like $5. You buy them,
Oh.
and then you cross your fingers that hopefully it gets canceled. You study the weather, then they give it to a June game or a July game, and all of a sudden you're chilling with a $5 ticket. Now it's July, in the middle of July, 80-degree weather outside,
That's
and
fair.
tickets are now $75, but you paid $5 for
Yeah.
it. That method works at least once or twice a season.
That's fair. My problem is I don't live up there anymore. So
Yeah, well, you can, if you know you're coming back to Boston, you just take the gamble.
exactly.
All
That
right.
is what it is. But yeah, we can move into our final thoughts here. You want to lead us off?
I had a really good final thought. I had it in my mind because I thought we were going to go to final thoughts.
It just slipped.
And I wanted to
Was it about
say
basketball,
it.
gambling.
Dude, what is it about? So no, because it bothers me. It wasn't.
It's all right. That happened to me a few weeks ago. It just
No,
sits
but I
with
want to
you.
get it out there because
Like,
the final
I
thought
just-
meant something.
Yeah.
It's not basketball.
Is it baseball? Is it hockey? Is it college
And
basketball?
I don't want to do
Football?
a generic Jared Stidham is my quarterback one. Like
Yeah.
I pissed off so many people doing that. My final thought is Twitter is such a cesspool.
Twitter's the worst social media.
I've been more active on Twitter now, just because, and I have my certain sense of humor. I'm first in line to make fun of myself.
Yeah.
I'm there. But
It's good. You gotta have that.
It's funny to see the Twitter trolls and how people get so butthurt so instantly. It's in the crazy shit you see over there.
That's why
thank God-
I didn't have Twitter for a while because it's just news
It's
and people
gross.
complaining.
But thank God I built up a platform on Instagram. Thank God I have something at least there. I talked to GRD. I put my hot takes out there and I say whatever I want to say. I think a lot of people get pissed off because they wish they had a platform to be able to say those kind of words, and people shit on it or they talk about it, this or that. But
Yeah, you need to get one of your takes to go your way.
I'm over.
You're over for a while.
I am stinking.
We got to
I am
get you a
stinking.
win.
You know what? The ultimate one is Jared Stidham, quarterback one. He ends up starting week
No.
one. That'll be the ultimate.
That's gonna be
Everything else
another
canceled
swing and
out.
miss though. Like it's not gonna happen.
It might truly happen.
It's not. You want to put money on it?
Brendan, what has to happen in terms of for you to see Jared Stidham become the starter?
They don't re-sign Cam Newton. They don't re-sign the guy that everyone was mediocre,
So this
like
guy
love
can
hate
go into
relationship
training
last year.
camp. This guy can go to training camp and light it up and look really good throwing the
Yeah.
ball, and it still wouldn't matter to you.
It really wouldn't.
Wow, like you just wouldn't give him a chance.
I gave him a chance, and I think he threw a pick six both times I gave him a chance.
It's all right.
It's all right. Moving into my final thought. I'm gonna finish on a little more of a somber note, but two thoughts. My first one is good. I hope I wouldn't wish Fournier on any of my worst enemies. Then my final one. Recently, like my first undergrad school, Grand Canyon, played in March Madness on Saturday, lost to Iowa, but a little bit of a tragedy. 2 nights ago, our starting power forward, one of my former classmates, his name is Oscar Frayer, great kid, great person. One of the guys, like, compare him to Kemba, always smiling, was in a car accident and passed away 2 nights ago. So just kind of dealing with that, hearing all my friends, just wishing nothing but blessings and prayers to his entire family. His sister was in the car with him too. So prayers up to Oscar and the Frayer family. You never want to see anything like that, especially with a young athlete who just got his degree, literally was going to walk in graduation next month. So, you hate to see it, but nothing but prayers and the best for Oscar's family. So sorry to close it out on a somber note, but it's all love, Oscar. Fly high one more time. We love you, brother. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next week. Boston's Big Three, episode 96.